rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my God! Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Wow, I thought I had that turned on. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope that you're having a good day. Good morning, Jay Hib. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Man, oh man, oh man. I hope the sound was a little bit better than it was last night. Last night it was just a little tad low. Thank you guys for pointing that out to me. Seems like it was me. As usual. Maury, something's not right about Lady Plumbing. About Lady Plumbing? I don't know what happened with Lady Plumbing. What happened with your plumbing, lady? I don't know. No. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad that it's something easy to wake up to. I don't want to have it difficult. Difficult would suck. Just saying. So good to see everybody. I'm glad you're here this morning. Yes, today is just right. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Star. Good to see you. Yes. I was pulling up something and I realized I didn't even have my own camera on. That's typical of me. Wouldn't it be though? Yes, the morning briefing. When media hacks stumble upon the truth, they bury it. Well, this is from the Cruiser Morning Briefs. You can find that also on BJ Media. Happy Tuesday, dear Cruiser Morning Briefing friends. I don't speak Spanish, so the sine qua non sequitur is executive producing a Nat Geo special about cannibal tribes and jacuzzis. One thing I've wondered a lot about all my years of writing about American political media is why the likes of the New York Times and NBC News don't just simply admit that they're biased. They don't bother to hide it anymore, so why insist upon carrying on with the nonpartisan journalist charade? Okay, part of that is that dinosaur media types don't realize that we're in the 21st century and that the world is moving on. They still view themselves as if they're in a 1940s movie and wearing pork pie hats and have cars that read press stuck into the hat bands. And anachronistic yearning is more about the nostalgia for the power they used to have than anything else. The mainstream media hacks have been awful for decades, but they've gotten exponentially worse now that they're all chronic sufferers of Trump derangement syndrome. They're serial abusers of the First Amendment rights, wrapping themselves in the Constitution while doing everything they can to unravel the fabric of the Republic. There was the trick. I noticed happening a lot in the early days of the first Trump administration, which I would frequently point out in columns then. I haven't written about it much lately, but my good friend and partner and thought crime, Stephen Green, in thought crime, sorry. Stephen Green caught the Washington Post in an act and wrote about it yesterday, not trying to create hysteria one worried mom sent out to the others, according to the Sunday report in the Washington Post. They are in Forest Hills right now in full tactical gear, and children are being left behind. The story continued as concern grew. Neighbors lined the block. An elected official jetted to the Forest Hills playground. Immigration attorneys handed out you know your rights cards in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole to any nannies they could find. It isn't until after 4 solid paragraphs of teeth gnashing, the hand wringing, that the paper admits that no such thing happened. There were no ICE agents in or out of full tactical gear. No nannies were targeted. No child was left behind. Wait, what? Yes, the fifth paragraph consists of a single line negating everything that came before it. U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement officials later told the Washington Post that agents had not targeted nannies in the playground nor any other in the district this week. That's the formula for our intrepid journalistic class. Incendiary, misleading headlines across all media platforms that are refuted later in the article. This happens a lot. The big reveal always comes in the 4th or 5th paragraph. That gives them time to gin up some of the emotion with falsehoods. These aren't just cases of burying the lead for effect. They know that no one reads the whole article anymore, so they're using headlines to create and perpetuate false narratives. And then the sneaking in a kernel of truth to provide themselves a little cover. It's akin to a trial attorney saying something inflammatory, even though he knows the judge will order the jury to ignore it. The damage can't be undone. I mentioned that no one reads the whole article anymore, but it's worse that when it comes to the false narrative machines, when the Washington Post or the New York Times links to an article on X, they can editorialize in the tweet, post, whatever, safe in the knowledge that most people will never even click to get to the article, let alone read it. It's easier than it's ever been for the professional liars in the American legacy media to be horrible. Fortunately, people like me and my colleagues are able to be a lot louder when we're calling them horrible. My efforts to turn up the volume will be unceasing. Contributions to the mail bag of magnificence can be sent to cruiserb at Gmail. Cruisermb at Gmail. Yeah, good stuff. I saw this the other day, and this is really cool.
Do you know why seals love slapping their bellies?
Well, especially in the middle of age chubby ones, they enjoy slapping their bellies as a way to show off their fit physiques. The thicker the fat, the higher the sound, and happier they are when doing it, even though they have short limbs and are quite plump. But their abdomen is very elastic when they walk. Their bellies are bouncy, almost like a trampoline. Bellies even act as a seesaw, despite having a body fat percentage of about 50%. Seals aren't interested in dieting. Belly fat is a sign of maturity. It makes them very relaxing to float on the water. It's like they're doing a ballet performance, totally content. And if they bump into a glass, their fat protects them. It can stretch and retract. They rest, they turn into a sort of a turtle with their head and belly emerging. Once the seals love to sleep in the water, their thick fur helps them increase their buoyancy. Sink like the Titanic through lung capacity. Look at this. Poor cute little seals. Look at them go. Hey, Whiz, non-smacker for 32 days. Yay, me. Congratulations. Oh, I thought you were talking about the seal belly fat. That's what you were talking about, was the baby seal fat. That's hilarious. I thought you were saying that you were a non-smacker, that like you'd lost some weight. You were just like, look, I haven't smacked my belly in 32 days. I got it now. You're a non-smoker for 32 days. Congratulations. That is awesome. That is really good. Congratulations. She would keep me shaded in the summer. I bet she would keep me shaded in the summer. I'm also a non-smacker. Oh, that's awesome, Bonnie. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're feeling good too. That's always a wonderful thing. Yes. New theory on why Kamala Harris lost. Guns and crime made it too scary for liberals to vote. Really? We know they're lying. They know they're lying. They know that we know that they're lying, and they still lie. It's not just lies we tell ourselves. Sure, that's part of it, but it's far more than just that. It's the sum total of all myths, legends, and real life events that matter politically now and in the future. Whenever something big happens, the Democrats and the Republicans both create an unofficial narrative, their agreed upon explanation of what the heck occurred. It's political storytelling. The Democrats write for their audience, the Republicans do the same. Sort of sounds silly and frivolous, but it carries a critical function. A shared narrative unifies your party, and just as importantly, it also defines your future. What's past is prologue. Ever since the 2024 election, the Democrats have had a terminal case of writer's block. They still don't have any agreed upon explanation for how or why camel toe lost. Usually the party would simply blame the losing candidate and move on, but the weirdness of the election, their frothing hatred for all things Trump, and their desire to protect Camel Toe Harris' viability have jammed their pen, which explains their current chaos. One group of Democrats is blaming Biden for not dropping out sooner. Another is pointing at Harris, calling her a lousy candidate. Others are side-eyeing podcasts and social media, i.e. Elon Musk. Many are blaming racism, misogyny, and believe it or not, a handful are actually crediting Trump for running a smart, successful campaign and making inroads with key demographics. But no liberals will say that Trump won because Americans prefer MAGA. Well, let's not get crazy here. So their long journey continues, and their quest to explain away the 2024 defeat, a dazzling new theory has emerged. Women and gender nonconforming people were more likely than men to fear violence and harassment while voting in the 2024 election. Well, they don't know my district. And those who expressed concerns about safety were more likely not to vote at all. New research shows they definitely don't know my district because nobody was worried. Nobody was worried about voting in my area. They were all happy to vote however they wanted to. Now I do know that in what was it, when they had midterm elections, there was, and that was right after Trump lost, there was so much fear in 2018 for midterms, 2018. Man, we were at the height of everybody losing their freaking minds. Nobody wanted to vote. And don't even get me started on any of the other crap. Kim just got robbed. Yeah, she probably did. But it's pretty hard to rob a millionaire whenever they have so much money that, she somehow managed to collect on her paycheck. It's weird. Just such good investors. It's amazing to me. The study was conducted by States United Democracy, a partnership with Pivotal Ventures, an organization funded by Melinda French Gates, and the lovely Active Synergy. The story was released the 19th, which also funded the Pivotal Ventures, i.e. Melinda Gates. It's important to point this out because you're going to be tempted to dismiss the story as way too goofy to ever gain traction. But keep in mind, Melinda Gates is worth over $30 billion. With enough money behind it, even silly issues start getting taken seriously. The article continued. Researchers surveyed voters before and after 2024 election in partnership with Research Data and Analytic Group, YouGov, and held a series of 7 focus groups before the election with 3 groups of white women, 3 groups of women of color, and 1 made up of gender non-conforming participants. They also fielded surveys of state lawmakers, election administration, law enforcement officials, in partnership with the nonprofit Civic Pulse. The study is also one of the first of its kind to study the voting experiences of gender non-conforming voters who are subject to gender-based discrimination and harassment at the polls. How? Women, people of color, and gender nonconforming people were more likely to have perceived the election environment as being unsafe, reported experiences higher rates in voting related harassment, and were more likely to take precautionary measures when going to the polls. The study also compared pre-election survey responses to voting records and found that higher expectations of experiencing violence or harassment at the polls was correlated with lower voting rates. Concerns about violence or harassment depressed turnout, likely turning millions of voters into non-voters. The report said, millions of voters, it's a really big number. Donald Trump's collective margin of victory in the 7 battleground states was roughly 760,000. Well, gosh, millions would have been enough to overturn the whole election. Well, and here's how they reached their cockamamie conclusion. Overall, 90% of men, 89% of women, 73% of gender nonconforming respondents said the post-election survey that they felt safe voting, but respondents' perceptions and feelings of safety varied by race among women and gender nonconforming people. In the post-election survey, 92% of white respondents said they felt completely or mostly safe voting, with 85% of black voters and 84% of Hispanic voters. In pre-election surveys, women and voters of color were more likely than white men and white respondents to view voting as unsafe, and they say that they were taking precautions as a result. Among women, the most common safety precaution respondents said they were likely to take was not bringing their children to the polls, 32%. Well, the most common safety precaution for gender nonconforming people is not to interact with others at the polls, 46%. About a quarter of women and gender nonconforming respondents said they were likely to vote by mail. Several women voters in focus groups cited the potential of gun violence as a concern. Well, that last paragraph wasn't thrown there by accident. The last one was all about gun violence, too. I don't go to the polls because you never know what you'll encounter there, said a white independent woman voter with participated in one of the 4 focus groups. It seems like everybody in Arizona has a gun. We vote by mail because it's safer. Everybody has an opinion. You get in line, you hear it all. You never know if they don't agree with you, they'll shoot you. People are crazy. Yeah, I don't see it. It's probably worth mentioning that Bill and Melinda Gates have spent lots of money on gun reform. The article argued that gender nonconforming voters were especially victimized. And I'm not going to read through all of that because their voter groups are idiots. To quantify how much all this violent harassment and imitation hurt Camel Toe Harris, the survey's mathematician, decided thusly. People who feared violence and harassment at higher levels were less likely to vote. Researchers found by comparing survey responses and verifying voting records is when the controlling for turnout differences based on demographic considerations. The study found an average of 3% point decline in the likelihood of voting. For context, differences in voter behavior based on education level, one of the strongest predictors of turnout, are only half as large as differences explained by expectations of violence or harassment, the reporter said. Put another way, generalizing our results to the nationwide electorate, roughly 6 million Americans may have decided not to vote in 2024 because of concerns about violence or harassment. Ain't that something? Our lack of gun control cost Camel Toe a whopping 6 million votes. That wouldn't just give her a resounding electoral college victory, but the popular vote as well. The Democrats will blame the Second Amendment for voter suppression before they blame themselves for their own defeat. It's certainly a creative argument for gun control. Good luck with that. And so another windmill is defeated. The Democrats' quest for a narrative continues. Second verse, same as the first. Hey, Miami Spice, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. J Hip. Hi, Ginger. We got a freckled Ginger. Good morning. Oh, I thought that said something else. My reading comprehension is really bad this morning. Good to see you, freckled Ginger. How you doing? You know, with the clickbait title you had last night, I was bound to bring on the anti. Oh, it wasn't a clickbait. It wasn't clickbait. Clickbait would mean that I wasn't reading any sort of story or having any sort of fun. It could mean anything you want to mean. No, last night was an explanation of how do you really want to change people's minds, you know, and how many people are actually being swayed by what they have to say. I mean, think about it. How many people are actually being swayed by what they're saying? Do you think people are easily swayed by by you coming in and saying, you know, this is a horrible person. They did something, what is it? It would have been, I think it ended in 2022. Those divorce proceedings ended in 2022. What, 2023, 2024, whenever it was. Do you think that that swayed anybody by bringing in their children? I don't know. I found it an interesting thing. And chat was awesome. It did sound stuffy. Also, it was awesome to call out Chad. Well, it was interesting. I don't, I don't worry about people like that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I, I, I don't really worry about people like, what's his name? Uh, Vomit, Paint Chips. Um, and you have to understand why I don't concern myself with them, because I know the crowd that they're hanging out with. Yeah, I mean, I dug into, you know, this one particular person last night after my stream, and I found some very interesting things. And let's just put it this way. I understand why and how they hang around with the people that they hang around with and the reason why they do the things that they do. It doesn't take much to get to that conclusion. I could be wrong about it, and I usually am about most things, but I did find it very interesting to see that there were so many people that were concerned that I had flipped sides whenever my release earlier that day had nothing to do with it. Um, I would think that people know me a little bit better than that. I would hope so. It was it was to sort of call out the BS that I see. The problem that they have is they're not able to get the response out of me that they want. See, this is something that really aggravates some people. Not to say all people, but it really aggravates them because I don't respond how they want me to. I don't play their game. So if you're wondering why they don't mention me, which is a beautiful thing, by the way, I'm glad they don't. The reason they don't come after me so hard is because they've got nothing to come after me with. I mean, about the most that you'll hear is say, "Well, he's a drunk" or some crap like that. Yeah, that's me, perpetual drunk. They don't have a hard they're going to have a hard time coming at me for anything. And you might say, "Well, it's because of your numbers." I don't care. I don't care about those numbers. They're having a hard time coming at me because they don't they know that whenever I respond, all you guys are just going to mock them endlessly for it. So they stay away. Good to see you, fallen hero. Thank you so much for the 99-cent super sticker. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Yeah, that so when it comes down to it, they realize that they, as much as they try to get me to respond, whenever I respond, I don't respond how they want me to. I don't get upset. It's like think about this. whenever J Hip responds to him and calls them out on their bullshit, what do? Well, they get all blistered. They get all freaked out. They get all excited because, well, he responded to him in the way that they want him to respond so they can dig in a little bit more. And I know J Hip just toys with them. He just like, here's a bone, have some fun. They don't get it that he's trolling them. They don't get it that whenever he goes, hey, look, your boy Bubbles has become a member of my channel again. He just keeps getting those gifted memberships. It feels so glorious, doesn't it? They don't realize he's calling them out on, yes, Bubbles is watching. He can't help it. They basically say that a drunk can run circles around them. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Ruckles, how you doing? It's also because you don't care what they say. Right. Yeah. And I whenever I can point out their BS, it's almost like they're playing minor leagues, wondering why they haven't got into the pro leagues yet. Because their arguments are weak. Their attacks are even weaker. And as you saw last night with Chad, I'm not going to turn anybody away if they can at least be respectful. Welcome to hang out, because majority need mental health professionals. Well, I probably do too. I mean, I won't deny I'm a little bit crazy. You have to be nuts to be here. Getting ready to go now. Okay, Miami, you have a good one. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Oh, I can't wait to see Miami in Dollywood. That's gonna be awesome. So I can give her a hard time. Really hard time. Emma's girl just getting ready for a heat wave. Oh yeah, and we're supposed to be getting a lot more storms this week. They don't have voices made for radio or faces made for video. They also are actual thieves. Well, see, Bonnie, I don't know. I've seen that they do like to scam and grift people, and I I see the kind of persons that they are by their prior actions. And I'm not saying that I'm any perfect angel or that anybody else is, but they need a spanking. Well, they might like that too much. I have my favorites. They might like that way too much. Don't give them what they want. Give them what they want. It turns out that even more of Joe Biden's jobs creation numbers were fake. The Biden administration's phony jobs boom went up in smoke for months. It paraded numbers around like everything was fine, telling Americans the economy was roaring back. The job creation was on fire and Bidenomics was working. But the truth, long suspected by anyone trying to pay the bills, is now confirmed by the government's own data. Those jobs never existed. According to new figures released this week, the 399,000 jobs that Biden team claimed were created between July and September of last year have completely vanished. Not only did the economy not add those jobs, but it also lost 1,000 private sector jobs during that period. This more accurate data set was just released by the BLS for the third quarter of last year. Edge Antonio, a research fellow at the Richard Astor Fellow at the Heritage Foundation's Grover M. Herman Center for the Federal Budget, explains over at Town Hall, in stark contrast to the monthly job reports showing an increase of 399,000 jobs during the third quarter, these new numbers show a decline of 1,000 private sector jobs. Nearly 400,000 phantom jobs were quietly wiped off the books. And this isn't just a one-time discrepancy. Month after month during Joe Biden's term, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, published inflated job estimates only to revise them downward later, long after the headlines had already done their PR damage for the White House. And Tony breaks it down further. Under Biden, these revisions were abnormal in magnitude and direction, being revised down with unusual frequency. No kidding. In fact, the BLS, our more comprehensive annual benchmark released earlier this year, revised down Biden's job numbers from March 23 to March 24 by a jaw-dropping 598,000 jobs. That's not just bad math, that's deception on a national scale. While Biden administration bragged about adding jobs, families across America were piling up credit card debt to keep the lights on. Over 1.2 trillion in debt wasn't some fluke. It was a direct consequence of the inflationary, wage-crushing Bidenomics and the downward revisions to the Biden era jobs data are set to continue. From March through June of last year, the economy supposedly added 398,000 non-farm payrolls, according to the monthly job reports, yet the BED data shows a net loss of 163,000 private sector jobs for that period. In other words, instead of adding almost 800,000 jobs during the middle of last year, the economy likely shed more than 160,000 of them. And Tony predicts that the next annual benchmark will probably be a retroactive reduction in jobs under Biden that exceeds this year's large downward revision. So why all the fakery? Simple. Politics. The Biden administration used cook numbers to try to prop up a failing presidency and deceive voters ahead of the election, but it didn't work. Voters weren't fooled. That's why they gave President Donald Trump an overwhelming victory last November. Exactly. The American people weren't going to believe the government statistics telling them everything was great when their bank accounts were empty or that groceries and gas were eating into their paychecks. They lived the reality every day. And now the data finally reflects the pain people already knew as well. Angela Quinn.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day.
Oh, yeah.
A new flavor of fuckery.
Cause everybody sucks, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of rocks.
Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, and then 4 more days of increasingly stupid predicaments, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery. Yeah, we'll have it all over again.
Thank you, Angela Quinn. I also so sharp with your tongues and letters. Yeah, they can be a little bit biting. Yeah, they I guess they don't want to be on the receiving end of it, but it happens. It happens whenever it does. It happens. I mean, let's put it this way. I know things. I know things about these people. Once again, Trump was right about trade all along. No, say it ain't true. He knows nothing about trade. The Democrats and the media have been merciless in their criticism of Trump's tariff policies, insisting they would backfire and destroy our economy. But with each passing week of his second term, it's becoming painfully clear Trump is winning the global trade war, and he's doing it exactly the way he said he would, by putting America first and forcing foreign governments to deal with it. Take Canada, for example. Just days after the newly elected Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, took office, he picked up the phone and called Trump. Why? To make a deal. Despite campaigning against Trump, Carney caved to reality and recognized that Canada can't afford to be locked out of the U.S. economy. He called me up yesterday, Trump said. He said, let's make a deal. That's not just a soundbite. It's a signal that America's largest trading partners are blinking first. The truth is, Canada's economy is long dependent on dependent on access to the U.S. market. Roughly 75% of Canadian exports are to the United States, and 46 U.S. states count Canada as one of their top trading partners. No Canadian Prime Minister can afford to keep playing political games when their economic survival depends on Americans' consumers. With the campaign rhetoric behind them, Canada is coming back to the table on Trump's terms. But if Canada's quiet climb down is notable, China's meltdown is historic. Trump's 145% tariffs took a wrecking ball to China's manufacturing base. The Chinese Communist Party, already reeling from a slowing economy, faced the prospect of mass unrest, a major threat to President Xi's power. Protests from factory workers, many of them whom haven't been paid, erupted across the country. Toy factories were shutting down, construction workers threatening self-deletion. Strikes are spreading. Why? Because without the U.S. access to the U.S. markets, China's economy can't survive, and Trump's strategy worked. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jamie Greer announced a new trade agreement with China, one aimed at addressing the 1.2 trillion trade deficit. We made a substantial progress, Bessent. I want to say that name wrong a million times. President Trump is formally informed of what's going on. In just 2 days of negotiations, both sides have come to the table and left with a deal. Why? Because China can't afford not to. Even the liberal media, always quick to mock Trump's tariff strategy as reckless, can't deny Trump's strategy has been a success. Okay, sure, they'll try to deny it's working. Heck, they're still talking about egg prices, even though egg prices have gone way down since March. But the reality is that their endless fear-mongering about trade wars crashing the economy has been debunked. Trump's bold approach didn't just survive the doomsday predictions, it exposed them as flat-out wrong. Trump's trade strategy has proven far more than tough talk. It's delivered real results, from forcing Canada to the negotiating table to strike deals with the UK and pressuring China. Trump has reversed decades of weak trade policy. While the media downplays it, voters see the truth. He's bringing jobs back, defending American workers, and reasserting U.S. strength on the global stage. This is leadership that gets things done. Lefties are losing it because our stock market is soaring. Isn't it amazing how nobody believed it would happen? Nobody believed it would happen. Yes, I watched my stock portfolio take a big hit. And what did I do? Same thing I always do. Sit back and watch. See how it goes. Good morning, Stacy. Good to see you. Oh my. Do you think this is true? That Berkeley finally learned the truth about homeless crisis? Almost. It has reached the point now where it is an actual humanitarian crisis. Greg Gernick, a Berkeley property owner, told the San Francisco Chronicle this week. He's talking about the Olone Park, where tents, needles, and human waste now crowd out the dog walkers. The crisis is real, but it isn't just the tents. It's the nonprofits and agencies that are supposed to help. Gernick and others formed a group called Save, I guess it's Olone Park, bombarding, as paper put it, the Berkeley mayor's city council, city manager, police, and fire departments with emails and calls about what they described as unsafe and unsanitary conditions in a public space. Their concerns included rising crime and loud fights involving encampment members, rodent droppings, and rotting food littering the grass. And campfires, they worry, could spark a larger blaze. It's not good for anybody, Gernick continued. The dog park users, the neighborhood, the tenants, the residents, the businesses, or the people camping in the park. I feel really bad for them. Well, yes, Gernick has right to feel really bad for them, and he's also right to call homelessness in California a humanitarian crisis. If there's anything worse than what Californians won't do to help the homeless, it's what they do instead. Last year, the very same Chronicle reported that one of the city's largest homeless housing providers misused taxpayers' funds. Auditors found that they lacked key financial controls and engaged in practices that heightened the risk of fraud. Translation: very little help reached the streets, but plenty of pockets got lined. In Los Angeles this year, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors voted to pull more than $300 million out of Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, a city-county agency that oversees contracts for an array of homeless services. According to the same Los Angeles Times report, the decision followed 2 scathing audits which identified lax accounting procedures and poor financial oversight at the Homeless Authority, also known as LAHSA. Now, even the feds are getting involved in forming a criminal task force to investigate potential fraud and corruption involving local homelessness funds. The warning that arrest might be coming. Oh, I have something I wanted to talk about here, but because it's local, I can't. Now, even the feds are getting involved with forming a criminal task to investigate potential fraud and corruption involving local homelessness funds, and warning that arrests might be coming. California might be the worst, but it's far from alone. The New York Post recommended in December that the city cut off the shameless nonprofits making bank off the New York City's homeless services. In D.C. last year, the founder of the group Homeless LBGTQ Elemental P XYZ plus Z Zen Zao Zita Diddle Dod Blop pled guilty for moving COVID-19 relief money to private offshore accounts. The homeless charitable complex doesn't exist to get people off the street, but to suck up tax dollars. Yet the real crime is what we don't do. The temporary homelessness will always be with us as bad times, bad luck, or the occasional bad decision catch up with some of our most vulnerable. We often do a decent job of helping those people get back on their feet, but we certainly could and should do better. And another thing, it would be nice if certain jurisdictions didn't allow the male sexual predators into the women's shelters. If there's one thing that's going to keep a homeless single mom from getting help, it's the threat of a man in a skirt in the cot next to hers. But I digress. The real humanitarian crisis is that chronic homelessness is almost always a result of mental illness, drug addiction, or both. One condition tends to feed off the other, particularly for PTSD sufferers forced to self-medicate with whatever they can find on the streets. Letting drug addicts, which is what most homeless people are, pee on sidewalks and camp under overpasses isn't helping them. This is how Bronchi put it on Sunday. It's certainly not helping society. What's required is simple, if not easy: institutionalization for the truly mentally ill and real rehab for addicts who aren't. Berkeley residents have taken the first step and admitted that the city has a problem, but are they willing to get serious about it, or will they just shuffle people in need to treatment from one city park to another, lining everyone's pockets all along the way? So-called NGO run by the Dems. Yeah, it's weird how that works, isn't it? I have to buy a medical-sized dog bed for it to be long enough. I don't know. That sounds pretty kinky if you think about it. That's pretty long. Just saying. I don't know if that's true. Good morning, East Texas Cowboy. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well this morning. It is going to be an interesting day, really interesting day. But before I go any further, it is that time that I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to grab some coffee and do exactly what I do every morning. Make it fun for you. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, cup of joe, some iced tea, some water, whatever it is you might be having. I'm going to get some more coffee personally, but you're welcome to drink whatever you want to, whether it be anything from alcohol to sexual healing. Go grab a cup of it. Make it feel good. Be right back.
Step aside, y'all, it's my time to shine. I'm feeling the groove with these hips of mine. Hands in the air like spaghetti gone rogue. My knees are jelly and my hips just broke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Like a rusty hinge, my fingers point like they're on a binge. Twirl like a tornado, then drop real low. It's not planned, it's a shit sideshow. I've got the rhythm of a clock that's broke. My dance floor moves are a big effing joke. Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Rig like a lava lamp, mesmerizing glow. You can't help but watch me steal the show. I Summon the shake, the shimmy, the twist, a mix of genius and a big old fist. You're drawn in close, your feet start to twitch, feeling the groove like a broke-ass bitch. Yeah! Shaking it, breaking it, what a blast. Wobble it, wiggle it, shake that ass. Do a jig or a jog, wiggle it to the side, or break that hip bone by moving your ass. Step up or stand aside. Now we're all in the shake, no need to be shy. Move like spaghetti and reach for the sky. We'll dance like we're cursed, laugh till we're sore. Shizzy whiz nut reigns forevermore. So join the dance, let your weirdness unfurl. We're shaking ass, not a care in the world.
Good to see you. Yes, it is a good morning today. Diver drops an iPhone from 14,000 feet, finds it perfectly intact. Apple recently received some free advertising from the iPhone 13 Pro Max user who dropped his handheld while skydiving at 14,000 feet, only to find it in perfect working order on the ground. Last month, Casey Flay, an engineer and skydiving enthusiast from Devon in the UK, jumped out of an airplane at 14,000 feet without closing one of the front pockets on his wingsuit, which caused his iPhone 13 Pro Max to fall out almost immediately after leaving the airplane. The GoPro camera on his helmet captured the moment on video, but before checking the footage, he was convinced he had left the phone on the plane. It was only after searching for it that he decided to use the Find My iPhone app to learn that his handheld was located about 4 miles from where he had landed. But the most shocking thing of all was that the phone still worked. I brought my phone in my wingsuit just in case the others couldn't find me when I landed. I left my pocket open, and from my helmet camera, you can see it sticking out. It just flies off, and when I jump, gone. I didn't even know it was gone. I thought I'd left it on the plane. Nobody could see it on the plane, so I used my Find My iPhone and saw it was in a forest. After walking 30 minutes to the phone's location, the 37-year-old engineer expected to find his handheld in pieces or seriously roughed up, but it hardly had a mark on it. It seemed to work just as well as before its hard landing. If anything, it worked even better, as the button had been stuck ever since Casey had accidentally spilled a drink on it, now appeared to work flawlessly. A couple of years ago, I was in a restaurant and spilled something on the phone. No matter how much I cleaned it out, the side button was still stuck. But now, after falling from 14,000 feet to the ground, it's working fine. There was not a scratch on it, and it was as if it had fallen out of my pocket right there and then. It's unbelievable. It just doesn't happen. Well, his story went viral last week, boosting iPhone's already strong reputation when it comes to durability. But this is the first such tale we've covered. A couple of years ago, wrote about a man who retrieved his iPhone 14 33 days after dropping it in the ocean, only to find it still worked perfectly. And a year prior, we wrote about an iPhone 10 that worked after spending 10 months on the bottom of a river. Well, that's got to be interesting. I don't know. It looked like they had the video of it, but of course it's done past. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Imagine that. Imagine dropped it and then away it went. Oh, look, piano. Oh, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. Guy playing piano. Well, there's also a pensioner sued for systematically. There's got to be a joke in there. Feeding neighbor's pet cat. Oh, a 68-year-old Swiss woman was taken to court by her neighbor who claims that the pensioner systematically, it's funny that they spelled it wrong up there, correctly down here, fed her pet cat for months despite being notified, writing to stop. The unusual story takes place in Zurich, where a woman stands accused of luring her neighbor's cat with food for a period of 10 months with the intention of stealing it away. The plaintiff claims to have notified the woman repeatedly, even in writing, "Stop feeding her pet." Leo, to no avail. Not only did the accused continue to feed Leo, but she also installed a cat flap on her door so the feline could come and go as it pleased. As a result, after a while, the cat stopped returning to its original owner, and they were left preparing meals for it in vain. The pensioner's neighbor filed a criminal complaint against the woman, and the public prosecutor's office ordered the accused to pay a fine of 800 Swiss francs, or $950, and also issued a suspended fine of 3,600 francs, 4,273, for unlawful appropriation. But the 68-year-old woman refused to pay, so the case ended up in court according to Swiss law. Occasionally feeding someone else's pet cat is not punishable offense, but doing so systematically could have legal consequences because cats are considered their owner's property, and luring them with food is considered unlawful appropriation. However, in this case, the defendant rejected the accusations against her. Well, last week, the two neighbors appeared before the Zurich District Court with their respective lawyers to find a solution to the predicament. Their meeting was held under closed doors, and although the details have not been disclosed, the result made national headlines. As a result, the settlement agreement, the 68-year-old woman accused of systematically feeding little kitty cat Leo for almost a year can now keep the feline, and the previous owner withdrew her criminal complaint. A fittingly bizarre ending to an unusual legal battle, wouldn't you agree? She just needed someone to share her meals with. Ignoring Jay? Where's my $2? Did I ignore Jay? I don't think I ignored Jay. Jay did nothing. Are you serious? Yeah, dead serious. That's exactly what happened. It's crazy. Well, we know that a workplace can be a really difficult place to be, right? It's always Moe's Ginger's Ale. Moe's Ginger Ale, the official drink of soul stealers. Real children hears it in every bottle. That's awesome. I wouldn't mind a few extra cans or a bag of dog food, or those addictive temptations. Jay is ignoring you. Stop ignoring her, Jay. Well, maybe Jay is busy. He might be driving right now. That does happen. He's a traveler on the land today. But like I said, how work can be really difficult for some people. And, well, a UK woman whose co-workers compared her to Darth Vader after taking an online personality test on her behalf has been awarded $30,000 or 30,000 pounds in damages. Darth Vader is an iconic villain, and being compared to him by workmates is apparently insulting and traumatic enough to warrant compensation. At least that was the decision of a UK court in the case of an NHS blood donation worker who claimed that association with the Star Wars character caused her to feel unpopular at work and ultimately quit her job. The judge concluded that being told she has the same personality type as the infamous sci-fi villain was a workplace detriment, a negative experience that required compensation. The incident that sparked this unusual legal battle took place in August of 2021 when Lorna Rook and her colleagues at a blood donation center took a Star Wars-themed Myers-Briggs personality questionnaire as part of a team-building exercise. Lorna herself did not take the test because she had to step out to take a personal phone call, but when she returned, another colleague had filled out the questionnaire on her behalf and informed her that her personality was associated with Darth Vader. The experience allegedly had such a big impact on the woman that I thought it said she farted, but no, she started feeling unpopular at work and ended up quitting the very next month. In her lawsuit, Rook claimed that being compared to Darth Vader was one of the main reasons for her resignation, demanded compensation for unfair dismissal, disability discrimination, the failure to make reasonable adjustments. Darth Vader may be a ruthless villain in the Star Wars universe, but in the Myers-Briggs questionnaire, his category was described as a very focused individual who could bring teams together. Still, the judge ruled that being associated with him was insulting. Darth Vader is a legendary villain of the Star Wars series, and being aligned and his personality is insulting. The employment judge, Catherine Ramsden, said Lorna Rook was awarded $28,989.61, pounds. I don't know do they call it cents in the UK? I don't know. in compensation for the detriment, but her claims for unfair dismissal, disability discrimination, and failure to make reasonable adjustments were rejected. The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet. He owes me $2.50. You cheap little prostitute. You cheap little prostitute, J-Hip. Shame on you. Pence. Okay. So see, this is why I asked. Thank you, Rickles. I appreciate it. 61 pence. I love it. New icon of my font cut. As a party kitty. I like your party kitty. It's pretty awesome. Well, I think you guys might find this next one interesting. I did also find this one quite interesting. It is a 35-year-old man diagnosed with avoid restrictive food intake disorder, or ARFID, claims that the mere thought of eating fruits, vegetables, eggs, or meat is enough to make him sick. So a man who survives on bread and cereal and sweets has never tried fruits and vegetables. Calling Thomas Sheridan a picky eater would be an understatement. The 35-year-old UK man relies on a very strict daily diet that usually consists of 2 loaves of white bread, 3 bowls of shreddies cereal. I think we call them Wheaties here, or shredded wheat, and lots of Haribo sweets. Oh, Haribo. I'm going to say that wrong. They're a gummy bear, like, basically. And has never tasted fruits and vegetables. Because of his bland diet, he needs to take protein and vitamin supplements, but only those with little taste profile that he can stomach. The unemployed man claims to have made attempts to diversify his diet, but they all have ended in failure. A couple of years ago, he was diagnosed with an avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, an eating disorder that prevents sufferers from eating certain foods, and despite several attempted treatments, his daily diet remains incredibly restricted. There was one time we started drinking and everyone used to talk about bacon sandwiches when they were roughed up. Sheridan told SWNS, and I attempted to make an egg and sausage buddy one day, and as soon as the egg touched my mouth, I vomited about 10 feet across the room. Thomas's parents recall that he started rejecting certain foods when he was 18 months old. He just shut his mouth one day, and all efforts to make him try fruits and vegetables failed. Doctors advised starving him until he ate what was offered to him, and his father tried offering him rewards, but nothing worked. At school, he wasn't allowed to go home at lunchtime to eat toast because he couldn't stomach. He was allowed to go home because he couldn't stomach school lunches. As an adult, his aversion to certain foods has prevented him from leading a normal life and has made it harder for him to work. That's pretty wild. Last time I worked over a 10-day period, I lost 21 pounds, Thomas said. Desperate to incorporate new foods into his daily diet, the 35-year-old man is now trying to raise $8,000 for hypnotherapy, but no guarantees that will help to cure his ARFID. That's my grandson. Oh, very cool. I love The Empire Strikes Back so much. If it were a woman, I would marry her. That's awful. But I wonder what she has to say. Let's see. What is it?
As best as we can understand from the scientific literature so far, it's a combination similar to eating disorders of genetic, psychosocial, and psychological contributors. So most people characterize it as picky eating. It's more than that.
Well, here's a really interesting thing. Now, I didn't know what this was. Until one of my, has any of you ever experienced pine nut mouth? Okay. Now, if you have, you know what I'm about to say. If you've never experienced it, here's what happens. There's certain pine nuts, not all of them, but what'll happen is you'll eat the pine nuts, and for a period of time afterwards, everything tastes wrong. Like it affects something in your taste buds or some crap like that makes everything taste horrible. And I'm trying to think what the description was. Like for some people, it might be that everything tastes really salty or everything tastes like chalk. Like a friend of mine had actually gotten pine nut mouth. And she said that whenever she would try to eat anything, like not all foods were the same, but every time she would try to eat something, it would taste like she was eating chalk. And she said she lost a few pounds because of it, because it just tasted so horrible. Let's see if I can find a story on that because it's really interesting. And let me see. Nut mouth. That's what the sort of remind me of. And so it is pine nut mouth, also known as pine nut syndrome, is a taste disturbance that some people experience it after eating pine nuts, primarily from the pinus. It's a pinus, not it looks like penis, but armadillo species. It causes a persistent bitter or metallic taste that can last for days or even weeks. The specific cause of pine nut mouth is not fully understood, but is thought to be linked to a reaction to compounds in the pine nuts. Yeah, it's really interesting. New diet. Yeah, I remember saying that her saying it was just like she had no idea what the hell happened. It was just she just figures that she had some sort of like brain cancer or something. She wasn't sure because she was like, it's not like I don't like the food. It's just I can't eat it. It tastes absolutely horrible. So many times my time's up going to doctor so far for a leeching. Leeching. I once lost all taste buds for like 3 months. Ooh, that would suck. I don't know if I ever ate pine nuts. Well, if you've ever had like pesto, usually pesto will have pine nuts mixed in with it. It's you've probably had them and just didn't even realize it. My husband said he thought things tasted like soap. That's what it was. Things tasted like soap. That's it was a sort of like a cross between soap and chalky. Yeah, chatting. No, I quit chatting. Nothing comes out right. Well, you're not supposed to chat with the end. The wrong end. You're chatting with the wrong end. Sorry. I don't like pesto. Well, and some people don't like, and it's also, I think it's a genetic thing. Like, I think cilantro, for some people, cilantro tastes like soap to them, or just has a bad flavor to it. I mean, even the smell of it, they're just like, well, keep it away from me. But it's a genetic thing. Same way with, and one of my wife's friends did not know this, which is also genetic. Okay. You've heard the stories about eating asparagus, how you can your the smell of your urine gets really pungent, but eat cilantro. Pesto is nasty. Don't like pesto. Used to eat or try pine nuts ever again. Exactly. So here's what that is. Some people, which they don't even realize it, they won't eat cilantro either. Well, I have cilantro quite often, but I enjoy it. Especially oh, that was what I made for my wife. Was it last week? Because she was getting ready to go out of town, and I was like, well, let me make something that my wife will enjoy. So I got some steak, cut it all up, and made some fajitas, and I made what do you call it? Some avocado. I'm trying to think of what it's called. Like trying to remember what it is. It's like an avocado dip, and you use cilantro in it. That's why beets makes your urine red. I don't know about that. Now garlic in everything I can. Yeah, garlic is awesome. Guacamole. Thank you to say made some guac. And I was like, when the hell goes in guac? And I started thinking about it. I was like, well, let's see, tomato goes in it, some onion, cilantro, of course, the avocado. And so I just took an avocado, made some guac for both of us, and she was, oh, and lime, a little bit of lime. Put some lime juice in there. It is so tasty. And yeah, she wasn't expecting that. She had a long day because she was was busy until late, and I asked her when she was hungry to, give me a holler. I think it was later in the evening. She was like, "Oh, I'm getting hungry. Let me, go ahead and get dinner started." I mean, like 5-10 minutes of cooking, and I had all the stuff cooked up for her, and yeah, she loved it. Oh, that's what else I did. I marinated the steak in some mojo or mojo, as a lot of people call it. MOGAO. MOJO. It's really good stuff. Put that on like a Cuban sandwich, and it's primo. But you gotta have good stuff. Corn dogs are awesome. To say, well, Stephen is still stuck on corn dogs. Well, I have to agree, but you haven't had a real corn dog till you've had a Fletcher's Original at the Texas State Fair. Sorry, the new phone isn't working right now. Sorry to hear that. Ah, yes. I make, yeah, pico de gallo at least once a week. Yeah, got it. Make some good food stuff. Food is what feeds the soul. I'm telling you. But a woman for divorce after ChatGPT reads husband's affair in a coffee cup. A Greek woman decided to divorce her husband of 12 years after ChatGPT told her he was having an affair simply by reading the coffee grounds in his coffee cup. The chatbot is great for a lot of things, but it can ruin your life if you blindly put your trust in it. One Greek man recently appeared on Greek TV morning show to Priono to complain about ChatGPT destroying his marriage by painting him as an adulterer simply by interpreting the coffee grounds in a cup of coffee he had posed with for his wife. Allegedly following a social media trend, the man's wife thought it would be fun to have the world's most popular chatbot read their coffee cups in a sort of modern twist in the art of tassography. She made coffee for both of them and then uploaded photos of the grounds in their cups for ChatGPT to read. The chatbot claimed that the woman's husband was having an affair with another woman, which made his wife furious enough to file for divorce without even asking him if it was true. I laughed it off as nonsense, the husband said on the show, but she took it seriously. She asked me to leave, told our kids we were getting divorced, and then I got a call from a lawyer. That's when I realized this wasn't just a phase. According to ChatGPT, the man was fantasizing about a mysterious woman whose name started with an E, and with whom he was destined to begin a relationship. To make matters worse, the chatbot's interpretation of the wife's coffee cup revealed that her spouse was already cheating and that this mystery woman was hell-bent on destroying their family. After he refused to agree to a separation, the poor husband was served divorce papers just 3 days later. However, his lawyer warned that they would contest the divorce action because the claims made by an AI chatbot have no legal standing. His client was innocent until proven guilty. Apparently, the woman is very sensitive to divinatory practices, the husband said a few years ago. She visited an astrologer and became obsessed with astrology. It took a whole year for her to accept that none of it was real, the man said. After the bizarre divorce case went viral in Greece, seasoned tassography practitioners explained that reading into a cup of coffee involves more than the grounds. Masters of the trades also analyze the foam in the saucer, and ChatGPT is definitely not a master. Have a great day. Have a great day, everyone. See you later. You take care, Betsy. You take care of yourself, and we will see you very soon. Yes. Like, these are the crazy things that people do. Crazy, crazy things. I don't understand it. But a man whose body confuses cold and hot sensations. A 22-year-old Australian man has been suffering from a mysterious illness that causes his body to feel hot when it experiences cold and cold when he touches anything hot. Aidan McManus' troubles began at the age of 17 when he was in his final year of high school. At first, he lost feeling in his feet, telling his mother that they felt tingly and numbish. When his feet started swelling, he went to the hospital where doctors gave him some medicine for fluid retention, but that didn't help his condition at all. Things only got worse from there. As a simple act of walking felt like stepping on sharp tacks, and he was diagnosed with post-viral irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS, which complicated his condition even more. Despite his failing health, Aidan managed to graduate from high school, but then began experiencing a bizarre sensation in his hands as well. When he touched something cold, his hands felt like they were burning. When he touched something hot, it felt extremely cold. We were told it would eventually go to Aiden's hands, the young man's mother, Angela McManus, told Nine News. We were thinking that it happened 10, 15 years down the track. But one night, Aiden came to me and said, Mom, I picked up my can of Coke in my hands and it felt like they were on fire. If he holds something cold, it feels like his hands are burning. If he picks up something hot, it's like it's freezing. Neurologists have been trying to figure out Aiden's bizarre condition for years. They've run dozens of tests, put him through lumbar puncture procedure, and even cut part of a nerve in his foot for a biopsy, but they couldn't come up with an answer. Eventually, the doctor diagnosed the 22-year-old with a generalized nerve disorder, axonal peripheral neuropathy, which affects now how nerve cells transmit signals through the body. For obvious reasons, he can't cook. He's got to be careful. When I do give him meals, I've got to say it's really hot or it's really cold. Aiden's mother said, unfortunately for Aiden and his family, Australia's National Disability Insurance Agency, or NDIA, has rejected his request for support, claiming that he had not examined all possible treatment options. However, the young man's neurologist has clarified that he suffered from a progressive neurological condition for which there is no known treatment. I would strongly support him being eligible for inclusion, as I believe that he has an incurable disability and it will continue to worsen, the doctor's agency letter read. Nice pair of wool socks and gloves would solve that problem. No, you don't want to do that. Disabled Dahlia is away from the phone. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you? Yeah. It's crazy having some weird genetic disorder like that. I cannot imagine what kind of genetic order that could cause that kind of issue. It would just not be fun. I would not want that for myself. I do have something special for you guys, but give me just a minute to pull it up. It is something that I hope you guys enjoy. It's not my normal go-to on mornings like today. Trust me. Nothing about my day is going to be normal today. It's going to be a wild ride. And whenever I say wild, I mean it's going to be absolutely bizarre what's going to be happening today. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, so give me just a second because I've been holding out on you guys. I know it happens, but I do have something spectacularly wonderful for you if I can find it. Let me see if I've got it here. Is this it? I thought I had it. Where is it? I thought it was here, but it's not. Why did I miss it? Nope, I don't have it. Doggone it. You'll just have to wait. I've been working on something, but it's going to be good. Let's put it that way. It's going to be absolutely good. Whenever I get it all together, I will share it with you. Doggone it. Close all tabs. I thought I had it, but apparently I did not save it where I thought I saved it. And it'll take me a little while for me to actually find this particular one. It's gonna be good whenever I get it for you. All my crap together. It's not happening today though. Good to see you, Debbie Webb. Good to see you. The lack of thumbs up is making my anxiety go through the roof. Y'all smash it. Go support these morning streams. Yeah, the morning streams are just a nice way of like grooving into the mornings. Because that's what we all want. Just a nice, easy, relaxed morning. Nothing spectacular, nothing grandiose, nothing glorious. Just a nice, easy morning. But I did have something. Now, if I can just find it, because I'm horrible at this. Some days I just need a little nudging. Just a quick nudging, probably a good kick in the booty to get everything all together. Let me see. Oh, is this it? Nope, that's not it. I want to find something in here I can now. I will find it. Oh, there it is. And this was from yesterday. So I didn't pull it up. It happened over the weekend, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it was pretty funny. It is Progressive Christianity Watch Bad Music Choices Edition. It's been a few weeks since I've written one of these, so I figured we would do another look at the silliness that progressive churches engage in. A few weeks ago, I shared a musical-themed column, and I have another one. Think of it as Progressive Christianity 2 Electric Boogaloo. Last Sunday was May 4th, which was Star Wars Day. Not this past one, but the one before that. I'm sure some churches worked some Star Wars content in their sermons in elementary school. My best friend and I bonded over our Star Wars fandom. And we were convinced that Star Wars was a Christian allegory because the Force represented the Holy Spirit. What can I say? Third graders don't have well-developed theology. Instead of Star Wars gimmicks, my church decided to honor volunteers with a wonderful breakfast of biscuits, gravy, sausage, and grits. And it was so good. But Middlebury Congregational Church, a Connecticut congregation affiliated with ultra-liberal United Church of Christ, chose to pay homage to Star Wars in the most inappropriate way. The church's website informs potential visitors that masks are optional. Gee, thanks. Says that it welcomes all persons of sexual orientations, gender expression, socioeconomic status, family configurations, ages, national origins, races, physical, cognitive, and medical ability, and religious background, and celebrate God's inclusive welcome. Oh, and it has a woman pastor. Shocker. So let's just see what they had to say here, because this is going to be glorious. Yeah, that's what they decided to do. Look, as much as I love John Williams' score for the Star Wars film, this just isn't the right time or place to play any of them. At church, we started a series on Jesus parables this past Sunday. I don't know if the parable of the barren fig tree is one of the ones we'll go over. He told me this parable: a man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit. On it he found none. And he said to the vine dresser, "Look, for 3 years now I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and I find none. Cut it down. Why should it use up the ground?" And he answered him, "Sir, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and put on manure. Then if it should bear fruit next year, well and good. But if not, you can cut it down." According to the ESV Bible study, this parable symbolizes Israel's last opportunity to repent before experiencing God's judgment, but not according to the pastor at this unidentified United Methodist Church. Instead, this guy dressed as a fig tree says the parable is about capitalism.
Well, since I'm still in this costume, I feel the need to defend the fig tree's honor. The vineyard owner accused it of taking from the soil, of being a taker, of draining resources while giving nothing back. But that's not how trees work. That's not how life works.
Oh boy, this guy is a fool. Works for midnight watching now.
Even without fruit, this fig tree was giving to the soil. Its roots were anchoring the earth, preventing erosion. Its fallen leaves were decomposing, enriching the ground. And beneath the surface...
But it was being completely useless to anybody. Works for midnight watching. Yes, my fluorescent light is going out. Replace it. Yeah. That's a mighty handsome fig tree, feller.
Where no one was looking, its roots were in deep conversation with the underground world of fungi, bacteria, and other.
So it was taking up space. This doesn't bother me as a Christian because he misses the point. It also, it doesn't bother me as a Christian because he misses the point. It also offends me as a missive Ms. Fan. I hope these fools get hit with a copyright violation. Some churches write their own worship songs. In the case of the Well Church in Gilbert, Arizona, maybe they shouldn't. Well, the Well bills itself as a non-denominational progressive Christian church. Is the ministry called Well LGBTQ+. The church had to add a kid-friendly version of it. So what's the ministry doing before? What was the ministry doing before? The video clips at the top of the church's homepage featured 2 female worship leaders with buzz cuts as well. Check out the lyrics to one of the Well's worship songs. God bless the Christian, God bless the atheist, God bless the Muslim, God bless the rest of us. We've got no idea what we're doing. We'll never make it on our own. We've got too much dark inside us. We'll never make it on our own. Keep us all close, every one of us close. Don't let anyone go. Let all our friends in, all our enemy and all our enemies, all of our children, all of our family. We got no idea what we're doing. We've tried to find you throughout the centuries, different religions in different countries. We've got no idea what we're doing. We've got no idea what we're doing. We'll never make it on our own. We got too much dark inside us. We'll never make it on our own. Keep us close, every one of us close. Don't let anyone go. The operative line is in the song. We've got no idea what we're doing because they don't have a clue. It's bad not only because it hints at universalism, but also because it simply doesn't make any sense. Let's stay tuned for more exposure to the craziness of progressive Christianity. I pray that none of these songs get stuck in your head. Weird. Yeah, she needs to leave it alone. They have gingers as alternative boys for every service. That's awesome. It's going off and on. Well, if it's going off and on, stop flipping the switch. No, those things do need to be replaced. You know, the worst part about fluorescent bulbs is it can't be recycled. Doesn't that suck? Because you're not supposed to open those things up ever. They can't be broken. It's very dangerous to your health. Now they tell me all this crap. Why didn't they tell me that whenever we were tossing them off the top of the Taft building? Doggone it. We tried to make them hit the actual dumpster, but they tended to miss. Yeah, I think we probably threw hundreds at some point. That whole parking lot must have been filled with glass for months. Just watching them pop from 14 floors, 16 floors, whatever. They're lightsabers. It's your Sunburst guitar, ES335. No, it is not. If you're talking about this one right here, this is actually a bass. Oh, you're talking about this one right there? That bass, maybe. I know that it's an Epiphone, and that might be correct. I've had that. I got that in a pawn shop for $100, and I've used that on 2 separate albums. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what brand it is, because most of the stuff was missing off of it, like its signifier. I did find another one in another place that I think they wanted $300 or $400 for it. But yeah, I don't know what version of bass that is. I could not tell you. I could look that up. ES335. Let me see. ES335. Yes, 335. Let me see. Oh no. That's a guitar. No. As alternative boys. I guess you could. No, this one here that I've got, that's out of sight. Let's see if I can turn the camera a little bit towards it. There we go. That one right there is a bass. And it is a Maestro. It is a Maestro bass, is what that is. That helps out. I don't get into the whole brand things. I find an instrument that plays really well, and that's what I tend to stick with, something like that. I try to keep those kinds of things nice and enjoyable. Let me see. What did I do? Crap, I hit the wrong button. I was not meaning to do that. Damn it. I'm about to accidentally kick myself off because I keep hitting the wrong keys. Great, isn't it? Oh, there we go. And I had this one really interesting thing. Oh, I can't show it. I can't show it. I was going to, but I realized that all of them got me. Well, one of them got me in trouble the other day, so I didn't show it. Because it got me a little bit booted off of the well, it got me a copyright strike yesterday. So unfortunately, I had to kick that thing back and not allow it to be shown. So if you're watching yesterday, you only got to see it yesterday because, well, that's what happens. That's what happens. Some days you do things that get you copyright straight. And I don't like it. I don't like getting those. Oh, where the hell did it go? I knew I had something here. Wanted to show it to you, but now I've got to be careful because I don't like getting these copyright strikes. They're never any fun. uh, Let me see. Let's see. Nope. Nope, that's not it. Well, doggone it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. How do you get how do you get nuns on a date? Dress them up as altar boys. We should start referring to trans women as alternative boys. That would be interesting. Well, doggone it. I can't seem to find it. But I did tell you. I did tell you yesterday. As most of you probably heard, the two versions of the song. I've been working on another one, and we're just going to throw it past you and see what you guys think about this, because this is something that I think is going to be really good whenever I can find it, because I'm so smart. Where is it? Doggone it. It's on the playlist. No, it's not. I don't think it's in a playlist. It should be in my library here. Why is it not pulling up? Doggone it. I will find it. I will find it. That is not it. This is something that I was working on. I want to make sure that I've got the correct one here. And I just want to be positive. I'm having to listen to it because I want to make sure it's the right one. Oh yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. That's more. There we go. I was having a hard time finding the base. Have what is emoji into your name? Into your name? Well, there's a reason. There's a reason why people have. Okay, where is it? Calling all fools. Is this it? I think this might be it. Let me see if I've got this right. There it is. It is. I want to double check. Nope, that's not it. This is okay. Nope, that's the wrong one. I will find this doggone thing because I've been working on it for a bit, and now I can't seem to find it. Oh, that is not it. Nope, that is the wrong one. So, is this it? I think this might be the one. No. Nope, that's not it. That's still not it. Doggone it. Why can't I seem to find it? I had this thing all set up, and now I can't find it. Maybe this is it. I think this is the one. Nope. But I can play this one. Maybe you guys will like this. This isn't the song, but this one is a nice, fun one to go out with. No red button, Shizzy. No red button. What happened? Step away from the red button. Step away from the red button. I will not. I will not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share this, guys, with you. It is, and it's got a nice little funky beat. So I hope you guys enjoy the nice little beat this thing has. Here we go. Check it out.
The room still smells like your cologne. That little note you left, still sitting by the phone. You said it wasn't goodbye, just a little bit of space. But baby, silence has a way of wearing out a face. The music plays low, but my heart won't dance. These hips don't sway without your glance. I wear your favorite dress just in case, but shadows don't hold hands and time don't wait. So I think of what we used to be and let the whispers in the walls come sing to me. Each shadow a memory, what went wrong, but oh, you stopped calling and I'm all alone. They say love leaves soft like it's scared to be caught, but I felt every inch that you forgot. You didn't slam the door, you just disappeared. Now I'm holding my breath in a room you cleared. Funny how you said I'll be back real soon, but your ghost gets louder in this empty room. So I think of what we used to be and let the whispers in the walls come sing to me. Each shadow a memory, what went wrong, but oh, you stopped calling and I'm all alone. Day I feel not so alone, but for now it's the only way to feel known. So here's to the silence, to love gone blind, to the whispers in your ear you left me behind.
I hope you guys like that one. That one was something I put together a little while back, but I can't seem to find the one that I've been working on lately because, well, I suck. Most days I do, but today I do have a lot of work to do. I've got to make a bunch of phone calls, getting ready to go out of town next week. So you won't see me on Friday, but Mo still should be on. Hopefully Ballstorm joins Mo on Friday because, well, he's fun. And then I've got to be a traveler on the land, but of course don't you fret, don't you worry, because I will probably do a pop-up stream just middle of the day, just randomly. Well, all of a sudden you'll see that I'm streaming and I will be probably, speeding down the highway at a high rate of speed, hopefully. Make like a baby and head out. But keep tuned because we're going to have a really interesting week. And probably next couple of weeks are going to get absolutely crazy. And of course, I'll be out of town for most of it. So I'll just have to catch up when and where I possibly can. Everybody have a good day, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace, y'all.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Everybody, show